So we've taken a couple weeks off.
Well, everybody needs a vacation.
Yeah, we had some, to tell these guys, we had some technical difficulties. It's not so easy always putting these together.
Yeah.
Adding extra cameras can get pretty difficult. And you're testing. You did a great job on that. Well, do you mind sharing what you were studying for?
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I was studying certified interconnect, for printed circuit design. And I just passed my advanced test, which is the highest test that you can take for that. So I'm fully certified in my industry at this point.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then, that slowed us down a little bit because we wanted you to get through that and get that done.
Yeah, well, I was kind of studying every day, all day for a while. So
Right.
That was a little much.
Yeah.
I've been out of school for a long time. So trying to cover, technical documents was challenging.
Right. Yeah.
But, I'm certified now. There's no research test. There's no, hey, come back in 5 years. We're done.
Oh, no continuing ed for it. It's just a one. Okay.
It's mostly about concepts and things that you need to know that are like physics and the rules of material properties and their behavior under different signal conditions.
Okay.
So how does a circuit board behave in a way that meets the needs of whatever it's designed to do?
Okay.
So there's physics and limitations in how signals propagate that is a function of the way things are constructed. And you can modify that construction to allow different things to occur, depending on what your design environment. So if you're doing, microwave transmission or radar or something like that, then you're in a different world than somebody who's, say, doing all digital measurement or things like that. So different design environments require different knowledge set, and this testing that I took was primarily to prove that you know what you know.
Right. That's cool. Right on. So back to the Bitcoin updates on the ETF. We're seeing this month has been a lot of outflows and not a lot of inflows. So we have this on the screen here.
Yeah.
Let's just go to last month.
Okay.
So beginning of the month, there were still some good inflows, but they've been trickling off as this month's progressed. April.
And there've been a little bit of outflow on average too. Now, overall, let me just look here real quick. Our averages are still pretty high.
Yeah.
Right. So if we were to look at what the averages are, the average inflows are still about 150 million a day.
A day.
Yeah. So that's not bad, but we've been having outflow for a while, and it was closer to 300, I think, we were talking before.
Right.
So it obviously is reduced, but we're talking about, it's a different group of people who got to get invested, and now they're invested. So this is now we're reaching a place where it's going to kind of, do a little of that consolidation up and down thing for a while until more people get interested and want to get involved.
Right.
The real takeaway about ETFs is that it allows you to get into exposure to crypto asset without having to have a wallet, without having to have a lot of knowledge.
Right.
It's very liquid because you can sell these shares without having to sell the crypto. So that's on the fund to figure out for you. They're available for you to purchase. They're available for you to sell back.
Right.
And you can do this in the same day. You can do it minutes apart, and that's okay. This is not something that should be taken lightly, because the barriers to entry in crypto are usually about learning the process. What is on chain? What is a wallet?
Yeah.
What do you mean if I don't own it and hold it, it's not mine? And these kinds of things are foreign to people who are just want to invest their money. So if there's an opportunity for you to get all of that, be abstracted away, and I just hold some shares in a company that manages that for me, that's a lower barrier to entry, and that should allow more people to become invested or exposed to Bitcoin or cryptos in general as they become interested. And so as the bull market moves forward and people start hearing about this coin or that coin, or Bitcoin went up again and they have an interest, there is a way for them to get in without really having to know anything. And that's part of what we have said for a few years, is that mass adoption can't come when you have to sit down and become an expert over the next week or 10 days in how to make an exchange work, or how to instantiate a wallet that's secure, or how to use a cold wallet or something like this. People don't want to go and fight for this to get what this exposure they want. It needs to be easy.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to play a game on your phone, it's play now. Right. And people just, oh, I want to play now.
Yep.
And they play.
Yep.
And if it's not that easy, then mass adoption is going to be harder because you got to work at it.
For sure. Absolutely. This week, Michael Saylor said they had their MicroStrategies conference, and he said the Ethereum ETF will never happen, and that all cryptos are going to, except for Bitcoin, are going to be labeled as unregistered securities. Now,
they've even gone farther than that, and they're
outlawing them.
They're advocating for the outlaw of all other cryptos.
So Michael Saylor is not a friend of crypto. He is sold on BTC, and that is it.
Well, not only that, but I think he's sold on the idea that it's okay to control Bitcoin. And this is not a Web3 ethos, right?
Right.
Part of the reason that crypto became something in the first place was so that you could buck the system. And now the system seems to be embracing parts of the crypto world,
right?
Because it's financially attractive, because people want to make money. So greed is playing a part in this.
Yeah.
And you know, Michael Saylor is rapidly turning into somebody that you don't want to be associated with, because he's starting to make all the other cryptos enemies.
Right.
Right. And he and BlackRock are also advocating for the control of Bitcoin itself. So they're advocating both to take away all of the cryptos that are not Bitcoin and to put crypto into another category where we can't get a hold of it. We can't exchange it without permission. These kinds of things.
So they want us to be on the ETFs only, or not being able to buy it and holding it on our own.
Yeah.
Right.
Self-custody is a thing in crypto. And if you're not a supporter of self-custody, you and I probably don't see eye to eye.
Right. Absolutely.
I think it's very important that you be able to hold your own assets. Just like you park your car in your garage, you should be able to park your money in your house.
Well, now we've talked about this before, and let's explain this on this video. I can go onto PayPal and I can buy Bitcoin instantly, right? Yes. It doesn't take 10 minutes. I can buy that instantly, $100 on PayPal, and it goes into my PayPal wallet instantly. But that is not an on-chain transaction.
No, it's non-custodial.
I can move it to a wallet, like a trust wallet, but I'm buying it just basically on their balance sheet, right? Same with like Coinbase too. If I buy Bitcoin,
absolutely the same thing you do in Coinbase, and in some ways it's an advantage, and in some ways it's a disadvantage.
Okay.
If you have complete trust in the asset manager that you're working with, say it's Coinbase. We'll just talk about Coinbase for a second, right? So if you have complete trust that they're going to be around and that they're going to give you your money when you ask for it, well, you can trade it in their system without having to pay chain fees.
Right.
The transaction fees are incredibly small.
Yeah.
So that would allow you to take advantage of, hey, my friend told me about this one that started to move and I see it's moving. I can go switch it over. I can do this on my phone, on my Coinbase account with very low fees, and then it stopped moving. So I take it and move it back.
Right.
Right. Well, I didn't pay any chain fees. I just did a little shell game with Coinbase.
Right. Where it's on their balance sheet. They're just handing you some of their Bitcoin, or not even handing it to you, but giving you access to it. But you can make profits. You can still make those profits.
Sure. Just think about a smaller coin, like a Pepe coin or something that starts to make a move. And I want to get some of that. Well, you can get that transaction to happen in a few seconds on Coinbase. And now you're holding that coin. So if that coin's making the move up, then when it stops moving up or it slows down or you get nervous or whatever, I want to get out. I want to get out. And you can be out. Right. So this is part of what I was just saying about ETFs and the shares in ETFs. I want in, I can get in quick. I want out, I can get out quick. This is important, right? That the liquidity of being able to move in and out is part of what lets people feel like they're comfortable.
Yeah.
I can get in when I want, I can get out when I want. There's plenty of liquidity.
Cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Costs are cheap, right?
So how many of the coins on Coinbase, if I go to buy Pepe, even that, how much of that stuff is in their balance sheet where I'm not buying it necessarily on a chain? Everything that's registered, everything that they sell?
Everything on Coinbase is non-custodial until you remove it from Coinbase.
Okay, so it's true for anything I can buy on there.
For you and I.
For you and I.
So if you open a Coinbase account, and you go in and you make a trade or whatever, you have an account with them just like you would have with Venmo or PayPal or TD Ameritrade or whatever. You have an account, You have some associated assets with your account, and you can trade in their system all you like with their modest fees. Okay, but it's non-custodial, so you're not in charge of it. And if for some reason somebody like the government wants to stop you from gaining access, they can just put their finger on it and you're done.
Right. And that's where that trust comes in.
Yeah, well,
Trust, and they're the biggest player. There's a lot of trust for Coinbase.
Yeah,
I trust Coinbase right now, don't you?
yeah. No, I use Coinbase. I don't hold a lot on it, but I hold enough to be able to go in and out
quickly.
Yeah,
we've talked about that before. You don't want to miss an opportunity, so have some money sitting on Coinbase.
Yeah, well, if you make a deposit into Coinbase cash, then you have certain days before you can remove from the platform.
Right.
So let's just say that the most you ever invest is $1,000 at a time.
Okay.
So if you just put at least $1,000 of something that you trust to leave there, like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or it really doesn't matter, but asset,
stable coin,
a coin that has that much value.
Right.
Okay. Then you can go and say, well, I want to bring some money in from my bank. I want to bring in $800 from my bank. And now I want to go buy Pepe. And now I want to right away move that Pepe into my wallet. There's no 6-day hold on that. There's now a hold on the money that you hold in the Coinbase.
Okay.
For the transaction to occur through the banking system.
Right.
Okay. So that lets you say you need some Ethereum. I need some Ethereum because I'm going to go buy an NFT or something, right? I can order it on Coinbase. I can transfer it to my wallet in a few minutes. Now I've got it in my wallet. Now I'm in a place where I can go to Uniswap or somewhere else where I can make the exchange that I'm interested in, go to OpenSea, buy an NFT.
Right.
Right. And it's quick. Whereas if you didn't hold anything on there and you make the deposit, you got to wait however many days they say, whether it's 3 days, 5 days, there's a delay. Okay. So there's an advantage in holding a little bit on there. There's not really an advantage in putting $100,000 in there and leaving it in there.
Right. Exactly.
So my whole bag isn't in there, but enough is in there so that if I want to go get out $400 of Pepe or something I've never heard of that they happen to hold, then I can go get it from them and pull it right away. Or if I want to put cash in, move the cash into BNB or ETH or something like that, and then move to a DEX like PancakeSwap or Uniswap or somebody like that to go gain the asset I'm interested in. Well, I can do that really quickly and just leave something on the account.
Right. Yeah. Now, I think you and I are both still pretty optimistic. There's going to be a lot of room for growth on BTC this year because of this. Now let's talk about the Ethereum ETF. I haven't heard anything recently of value about that moving forward. Have you?
So the one thing I did hear was that they're going to push back on them this time around.
The SEC is.
The SEC is going to push back on them this time around. They want more time.
So May is not going to, that was the early,
I haven't heard it definitively, but the way I understand it and the rumor that's going around is none of the ETFs for ETH will be approved this cycle.
Then what's this cycle?
This
May is the end of it. Right?
They have an application period, and then there's a chance for the government to push back before they say no, or we want more time or whatever. Well, right now they're only in the early part of that evaluation process.
Right.
It's not like the Bitcoin ones where they had a couple of denials and then they did the negotiating and then they were like, okay, well now this is deadline. We kind of have to.
Yeah.
Right. They got stuck with that one. They're not stuck yet.
Right.
So, and Gensler hates us. So why would they say yes? They don't want to say yes.
Haven't a bunch of lawyers I know a couple lawyers got fired, but isn't there other lawyers at the SEC that are starting to squawk back against Gensler about what?
They're starting to be things where the bar is getting involved and saying that they're acting in an unprofessional way.
The SEC is.
The SEC's lawyers are acting in unprofessional ways, that they're not handling their responsibilities as attorneys and acting in good faith in court. So as the government's known to do, they bully, they threaten,
they lie,
right? They withhold valuable evidence, and everybody knows this,
right?
And you really have to be on your game if you want to go after them. And that's why people generally don't want to fight with the government.
I wonder if lawyers that work for these lawyers work for the government. Well, they work for the SEC, which is quasi-government, but their law licenses could be individually on it.
There are a couple of them that are currently under review in the bar where they hold it.
So that's interesting. That's a little enforcement outside the government that would smack back against them.
Oh yeah. No, the American Bar Association is saying that they're not acting as ethical lawyers,
Uh-huh.
and so they can be stripped of their license.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
But it also goes to tell you what's going on in the 3-letter organization, right?
Right.
These 3-letter organizations are acting like they are in charge. They're not. They have a mandate. They have a charter of some kind of what they're supposed to be doing, and they are supposed to be working for the people, and they are not. They are working for the politicians, and that's not right. The right answer for organizations at the federal government, at the state level, at the county, at the local level, you're a government employee because you work for the people. You should be supporting the needs and the concerns of the people, not the needs and the concerns of the mayor or the governor or the president, because that's not who you work for. They might be your boss,
Right.
that's not who you're supposed to be working for.
Why is it that the 3-letter organizations seem to be more douchebaggy than the 4-letter organizations? Is there a reason, like
When
the
you say that
SEC,
4-letter organization, like who? Like what do you say?
U.S. Coast Guard, or just the? It seems like we could go SEC, FBI, CIA, right?
NSA.
NSA, right? All the 3-letter ones seem to be more douchey than the 4-letter ones, like agriculture. That's a 4-letter agency, isn't it?
Yeah, USDA.
Well, why does the extra letter make them better?
Well, maybe because they're more real world, right?
I mean, is there a reason,
And-
like we were talking about how they name the freeways? They have a reason for that.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for a 3-letter agency's closer to the government than a 4? I mean, I just don't know. I'm talking out my ass.
Yeah,
right now,
no,
but-
I don't know that there's any correlation there. I mean,
Yeah.
government is like a many-headed beast or a no-headed beast that doesn't know what it's doing.
right.
So in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
there's a plan, but the plan died a long time ago, and we have half of the plan has been implemented, and we're
Right.
just going to wing it from here.
Right.
That sounds very governmental to me.
Yeah, like a big heavy ship that's going in a direction. No one's in charge anymore.
Yeah,
Everyone hops on and off every 4 years.
we're about to wreck the Harvard.
We're about to hit something, aren't we? We are. We're about to hit something. Hit the dock.
Well, I think the problem is we're reaching a point where government agencies are not doing what they're chartered for. They're doing things that are motivated by other reasoning. So if you look at the SEC is attacking crypto, and that's not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to protect people by providing transparency and rules for operation.
Mhm.
Yet they're not transparent at all about crypto. They don't want to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. They want to wait till you do something, and then they want to come and they want to threaten you.
Right.
And this is not how it's supposed to work. It's so bad that Congress has been pulling them out on the carpet and saying, look, you guys are about helping to curate wealth in this country, not drive it out. And we are currently driving crypto out of the country, which is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge wealth opportunity, and it's a huge growth opportunity for future wealth. And basically the biggest minds in crypto are escaping the US because of the draconian laws.
Right.
So we need to fix that, and the sooner the better.
I wonder how much influence someone like Michael Saylor has at the SEC. Like we were talking about at the beginning of this, that he doesn't like anything other than BTC. How many of him are out there lobbying the SEC to get rid of all the crypto?
Yeah, well,
And BlackRock?
BlackRock is in on that game. Certainly, MicroStrategy. They both are out there saying it publicly, so there have to be others.
Right.
People that don't want to be associated with that
Right.
negativity or get the bad press from it.
Mm-hmm.
But-
All the Bitcoin maxis.
But you know what? They're not impervious to attack either, right? Because Consensus filed a lawsuit recently
Okay.
against the SEC because the SEC said they think that ETH is a security.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, who's Consensus for people who are watching?
Consensus is one of the major. They've been around a long time in crypto. They do analysis, so they're like a research facility for a lot of.
They're not a crypto
information.
themselves.
They're not a direct crypto. They're an investor.
Okay.
They have nurtured a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going on is they're one of the bigger names, right?
Right.
Like Coinbase is a big name, and the SEC is saying ETH is a security,
Right.
and the CFTC is saying no, it's a commodity.
Okay.
Okay. Well, they didn't want to say it was a security for a long time because of what happened. They're getting sued. They're in an argument with another government organization, federal organization, saying you're wrong, we're right, we're wrong, you're right, whatever, back and forth. But now they've got Coinbase and Consensus going at them about ETH. So these guys have the lawyers. Coinbase and Consensus got plenty of money, got plenty of high-powered lawyers. And they know how to play the game, and they're not going to be bullied, and they're not going to be punked, and they're not going to be threatened because their position is sound and their opinion is valid. So they have ground to stand on, and they have the chop to be able to present that in court. So in my opinion, the SEC is getting set up for some more losses. And I personally, I hope what we're seeing is the end of Gensler. I want to see retirement of the people that are fighting crypto, because crypto will become mainstream in some way. Whether it's as broad as it looks like it will or not is irrelevant. The truth of the matter is there are really good reasons to use blockchains. There are really good reasons to use decentralized infrastructure, decentralized all kinds of things, because it helps with the trust problem. It helps with the Byzantine general problem. There's all these different things that get solved by using crypto.
What is the Byzantine general problem? Can you explain that to me? I'm not sure on that.
So I think the best answer is to actually look it up, because it's pretty complicated. And so let me just, general's problem. Here we go. It's the concept in distributed computing and computer science that describes the difficulty of coordinating the actions of several independent parties in a distributed system. So the problem comes when the involved parties are corrupt or disseminate false information. So it reveals challenges in achieving consensus among groups of mutually suspicious entities using unreliable communications. So what you're saying is, we're using a decentralized ledger that we all have to agree on in order for make changes to the ledger, so that I can't tell you that I am giving you 5 Bitcoin and then try and give the same 5 Bitcoin to somebody else.
Right.
All right. Like a double spend is something that others would say, no, you can't do that. Because that doesn't match on their ledger. Right. So you have to have this consensus where we come together and agree that's a valid transaction. It's been signed and hashed and this and that and the other, and we're going to accept it, put it in a block. These are the new stats on the chain. Okay. So what you're doing is you're solving the lack of trust by making the system trustless.
Exactly. And that's a good word in crypto, is trustless.
Trustless.
It's a good word.
Yeah. The idea is that you want to not have to trust somebody else to verify facts. Right. The chain data is very difficult to modify. And so what happens is the blockchain is actually tying up all the other data to keep it consistent, so that you know that when it was timestamped, that was the facts. Okay. That's the part that makes it trustless. I can go back and see for myself, and it can be proven.
And someone can't go back and just change it.
Correct.
It's there. Someone in our group recently, they were squawking about that Bitcoin, or one of its forks, we know what we're talking about here, solved this Byzantine general's problem. But doesn't proof of stake also solve the problem? Any sort of distributed ledger like this or is that not true?
So proof of stake says that you have a vested interest in not cheating,
because you've invested in that answer actual money.
You've put a stake down, and it can be significant. In the case of Ethereum, it's 32 ETH minimum. So that's like $100,000.
Right. So you lose a lot by cheating.
Yeah, you lose a third the first time that you fail to perform.
Okay.
Whether that's you're not online or whether you don't put out the right data. If you can be shown to be purposely putting out incorrect data, you can be pulled and all of your stake can be slashed. Slashing.
Okay.
But if you are offline as an Ethereum validator for more than 5 minutes or something like that, you can be slashed for a third.
Ouch.
So uptime is real important.
Ouch. Absolutely. Well, then that also solves this problem that we're talking about. Proof of stake can solve it, right? Or is it not? Am I seeing this incorrectly?
So we're talking about proof of stake. You got 32 ETH in there. You could lose 100 grand.
Right.
What if you transferred $10 million?
Okay.
I mean, what if you were that bad of an actor that you figured out a way that you could cheat and you might be able to win that? That wouldn't be not a guarantee, right? You're in a distributed system, but you're one of the people that's trusted,
Right.
and you're gonna like try and cheat somehow, whether that's collusion or whether that's cheat directly in your own node.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is that the bar to cheat is lower in proof of stake than it is in proof of work.
So on proof of work, a validator or couldn't do that. Cheating it would be harder. They had to have to get all the other miners involved, right?
Yeah. So, well, if you think about it, what you have to do you'd have to reorganize the chain. So that means you don't have to solve one block. You have to solve lots of blocks.
Going backwards in time.
If you're going to go backwards in time, every 10 minutes, you got another block in Bitcoin.
Right.
Now, it takes time to solve the blocks. Okay. So you have to find a solution that fits the way the block was built. Well, if you change the transaction in that block, you change the hash of that block. Well, that hash goes into the next block.
Right.
Well, that changes the hash of the next block. So if you go back 5 blocks, you have to reorganize all 5 blocks. That means you have to have enough hash power to solve all those problems, probably in less than 10 minutes because another block is coming, so that you can say, no, that's not how it is. This is how it is. And then here's the next block.
Right.
Well, that's damn near impossible in proof of work, certainly in Bitcoin. If you could get 51% to agree with you or to do the same thing, then you could overpower the network. This is one of the risks that people talk about, because there are mining companies that people share their power, they pool their power together,
Right.
in order to gain from it.
Yep.
And so that means there's more power in a smaller group of people,
Mm-hmm.
more likely to be cheating. But it's also really, really hard to cheat proof of work in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So yeah, proof of stake is not as secure, but it comes with benefits that people are willing to sacrifice some security for.
Right.
So being able to use proof of stake and have smart contracts and do other activities and whatnot in ETH was somehow preferable to using proof of work. So ETH switched over. And, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with the decisions that were made, but I think they do affect the overall security and the kind of the flavor of it, So you have to decide if that's something that you're willing to accept, kind of like decentralization. Many people don't want to have Solana because Solana is very centralized. There's only like 100 validators or something like that. It's a tight group.
Right.
And so that's not as decentralized as we would like. Kind of like Base. Coinbase is shot at a protocol that's it doesn't have coins in it. It's a protocol, but it's highly centralized right now.
Right.
And the idea is that it's going to be decentralized over time and become more of an independent chain or protocol. It's not a chain, it's protocol. That one's different. We should talk about that one in another video.
Yeah.
Base is an example of something that started out 100% centralized.
But it's cheap and fast.
It's cheap, it's fast, and it provides links to other places.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's go in places. Base
is gaining a lot of traction.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's because Coinbase is respected, and Coinbase is the ones that started it, promoted it, supported it, run
Right.
it. They're doing all the stuff.
Yeah.
And so, you can port your ETH over to Base and then use it on Base, and you pay. The last time I used Base to pay a transaction fee, the transaction fee was less than half a penny. So it showed up as 0 on my transaction. It didn't
even register as a fee.
It didn't even register it because it was 0.00 less than $5.
Yeah. Yeah.
0.0004 something and on its way.
Right.
So
Why are we having so much action with stuff on Solana? What is up with that?
well, most of what's going on right now in Solana is degenning.
Okay.
So there's a big NFT community and meme coins are kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
And the I think one of the biggest drivers for this is the fact that fees are really low on Solana. So
Right.
the barrier to, let's say I want to create an NFT collection.
Okay.
And I'm going to do just easy numbers. I'll do 1,000 pieces.
Okay.
Okay. Normally it's, 10,000 or 9,999 or
Right.
1,011, 111, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going to build 1,000 pieces. Okay. If I was going to do this on ETH
Mm-hmm.
and the gas fee was $2 per creation,
Which is low.
and that's 1,000 pieces, and I need $2,000 to even create.
Not to sell, just to create.
Just to create.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm minting it into the blockchain. The contract has to be admitted, and then the items have to be admitted.
Right.
So there's a lot of cost associated with
Okay.
it there. If you do that on Solana, you probably don't pay $5 to mint all 1,000 of them.
Right. Thousands of dollars versus a couple dollars.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Right.
And it also means that people can mint, like any idiot in the world can mint anything they want and sell it for pennies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So like I could go out and just get my drawings from kindergarten and,
Right.
and take a picture of them, digitize the picture into an NFT and create a collection and do it on Solana. And then boom, I can be selling them for 15 cents a piece and maybe make money if people like it.
So pure hypothetical, all that stuff that's minted on Solana,
Mhm.
what if Solana just went away? All those 100 validators just turned off. Can that stuff be moved? Is there interoperability yet for those NFTs?
Solana's an EVM. So yeah, you
It is, okay. You could port it over to Ethereum.
Yeah,
Overnight? Just, you could do it right now, or?
it's not easy, but it can be done.
Okay.
Okay. And the chain has to run for you to move it. So if Solana was to collapse,
I turn off.
it wouldn't move.
Okay. People would need to see it coming and start moving.
Yeah. Or you have to have a reason. Now, people have moved from Ethereum to Solana,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the people that moved from Ethereum to Solana move back. I have an
Okay.
NFT system that went from Ethereum to Solana, and then they went, oh, this is fucked up. And they went back to Ethereum.
Why did they go back?
Because their community wasn't happy on Solana.
Okay.
So that was a pain point for the.
They didn't like being on the rich guy's rug pull system?
Yeah. Well, I think, chains get their champions. And,
Right.
I have some Solana NFTs
Mhm.
and I have some Solana coins or tokens, but I have a lot more in ETH.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more. I'm well connected to my ETH bag, and I'm not well connected to my Solana bag. I don't trust Solana,
Right.
right? Even though lots of people are making tons of money on it.
Mhm.
We know somebody in the group making plenty of money on
Yep.
it. That's great, but it's not something I'm willing to just roll the dice on. I have more confidence that Ethereum will be around, that I won't get rug pulled,
Mm-hmm.
that it won't drop. Like if Solana just stops moving for a while, it's gonna fall, right? If they have a 36-hour halt to the chain,
Again.
people are going to freak out. Now,
Right.
I don't think they've been down for more than 12 or 14 hours or something at a time.
Was that it? The longest it was?
Maybe it was a day. Maybe there was one that was a day. Anyway, they've stopped a lot less recently, and they have a lot more activity than they did.
Right.
So 2 years ago, Solana suffered from halting fairly frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been working on the protocol, and they've been trying to fix the code so that it'll keep moving, and they make changes to the way that the interactions occur.
Mm-hmm.
So they've reduced the amount of potential for a halt to the chain. But as we know, it did halt not that long ago during this high usage period. It's probably a couple hundred times, if not more, actions per second than there were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not halting right now. So it's not about the halting problem isn't about number of transactions. It's something else about how the validation system works.
Right.
And it's been different things. So, I mean, you can go and do that. There's breakdowns on what happened on the previous halts, and you can, excuse me, you can go and look up those, and they do a detailed, root cause,
Right.
and then they try and figure out what that was to how to change it so that it's fixed in the future. But what you don't know, what hasn't failed yet, that is still a flaw you don't know about.
Okay, right. And we've talked about this before. Things can start out, new projects can be very sketchy, maybe even outright fraudulent, but let's just leave it as sketchy. Then they start building value and they sort of can start getting out of that sketchy territory. Would you say that's Solana? That they're getting more legit as they've gotten so much bigger, and it's not just a VC pump and dump. It can be actually a legitimate chain as they grow.
Yeah, I think so. And I think part of the way that works is that as you get more and more people involved,
right,
it's harder and harder to be the big fish or the big cheese or whatever. Like, I want this to happen or something. You can yell and scream at the top of your lungs in ETH about that. And if you aren't somebody who's a power player, nobody's listening to you. Just too many voices.
Yeah.
Right. And Solana's getting a lot of voices because a lot of people are piling on.
A lot of good people. Right. Would you say that?
Yeah. Well,
legitimate projects?
I would say all aspects of projects are moving on Solana, partially because it's cheap.
Yeah.
It just as much as a grifter wants a low price to be able to create a rug pull, a legit project wants a low price to be able to implement and then sell to a community that they can be part of or develop as a useful ecosystem.
Yeah. That's good. Solana might be here to stay.
Yeah, I don't know. It won't be in my wallet to stay.
You're not married to your bag of Solana, are you?
I'm not married to my bag. I'll tell you that right now. If you're married to your bag, you got a problem.
That's right.
No, you cannot marry the bag. If you're holding ADA and you're thinking, my bag's going big, I'm gonna win. Okay, do you hold some XRP too?
Right. Right.
I don't want to be rude. I don't want people to light me up or anything like that.
Oh, they will now.
But low performance does not mean, and promise doesn't mean that you'll get high performance later.
Right.
And the things that have been around for a long time that everybody wants to pump the bag and it's not moving, they're not moving. So if you're looking for something that's moving, don't pick an old one. Don't pick one that's on the sideline. Pick a mainstream. This is part of why it's good to be in Solana right now, is because Solana is front and center of the bull market. Right. I mean, Solana was below $30 a few months ago, and now it's 140 plus.
Yeah.
That's a big gain. I mean, anybody in the traditional finance world drooling over a Forex gain, right? Especially in a year, less than a year. That's a huge win. Right.
Absolutely.
But it's Solana.
Hey, I've got an idea for next week's video. We can blow up our comment section. Let's just talk about our true opinion of XRP. How about that?
Yeah, I don't think that XRP is bad.
It's just the army.
I just think that people that got sold on XRP have an overly optimistic idea about how it will move. And so, like,
here we go. We were going to pump this comment section.
That's fine. Think about it, though. If you are the number 10 coin, and I'm the number 2 coin, okay, and the market goes up, and you become the number 4 coin, you moved up, that's great. You moved up. But are you going to outgun me because you moved closer to me? That's not necessarily true. It's about your ecosystem, how many players, how much money's invested, what kind of projects are going on. And so when you look at, people are talking about things, what I always hear from XRP evangelists is, it's going to go to $10 and then I'm going to be rich. And my thing is, okay, it's under $1 right now. So let's just say if it 10x. If XRP 10x's, don't you think ETH is going to go up?
Right.
And do you think that if XRP 10x's, maybe ETH could 10x too?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's an echo chamber, right? They think it exists alone.
They get caught up in this thing like it's the only winner. And
Right.
I have this problem with anybody. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. I don't care if it's XRP. I don't care if it's Pepe. If you're married to that bag and you want to tell me how great that bag is, and how much money I'm going to make in that bag, I'm probably not investing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably running for the exit.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because you're too married to the bag.
Right.
It's the right answer is to look at it with as little emotion as possible and to evaluate it from the standpoint of what is your personal risk tolerance, what is the upside and downside potential of your investment, your position, and then to make rational decisions about whether or not you want to sell, hold, leverage, option, whatever it is that you do. I don't do a lot of those things. I'm more of a hodl guy. I like to take shots at things like a DGen, like anybody else does, where I'll go buy something that's, oh, what's it worth? Well, right now it's worth 0.000000000 something of a penny. Awesome. Give me like $5 of that thing.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it in the DGen wallet and forget about it.
Right.
Until somebody tells me, hey, did you hear about Cresso, man? It went sky today.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have some of that. Let me look. Hey.
Yeah.
But I'm not, that's not where I'm going to go invest. My investment is in things like Bitcoin or ETH,
Right.
or traditional market. And my DGen play, my long shots are the ones that I'm just going to throw some money at. I'm throwing money away. When I go out to dinner, I'm throwing money away. I'm going to buy a fancy dessert for an extra $10. Well, I take that $10 and throw it on XRP, and at 10X's, it's $100. Right. Oh, I could use that. That's great. But if I never saw it again, I don't care either, because it's not my whole bag.
Right.
And this is one of the problems that I see with things like Lumens or XRP, Ripple, is that people buy all that and nothing else.
Right.
And then they think they're going to be a super winner. Most people in crypto aren't going to be super winners. And part of the reason they're not going to be super winners is because they marry a bag.
Right.
Let that bag go up and then sell that sucker and go get one that's another small bag.
Yeah, they stick with one.
This is how the degens make money. When Dogecoin pumped and that guy in LA became like a 10 millionaire or whatever it was, you know, he didn't sell. When we're back down, so less than 10 cents.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They think it's there forever.
Because they married a bag. They're not willing to let go. And when they see it falling, they're like, oh, I'm just going to hang until it goes back up. But then it falls like it fall off the half dome. You know? It's like, oh my God, it just tanked. Well, now I'm not even in profit anymore. Why would I sell it? Right?
Yeah.
But there are people that sell at a loss like that all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, they get frustrated. It's emotional. You gotta keep the emotion out of it.
Yeah.
You know? And if you don't know what your sell price is when you buy, you're making a mistake. You go buy Bitcoin. What Bitcoin right now? It's like 63 or something like that. So if you go to 63 and a half.
Is it? Okay.
If you go and you get sold on buying it at 63 and a half, where's your exit?
Right.
Is your exit at 95? Is it at 68? What's your exit? What do you expect to get from your investment?
I think most people, that exit price keeps going up along with the price. Hits 100,000, they're going to change it to 200. Hits 200, they're going to expect $1 million.
But these are the same people that follow the emotion of exuberance. And if you aren't counter market, you don't win.
Right.
So when it gets to the top and everybody's talking about it at the water cooler, sell that shit.
Right.
Right away, man. Like you're talking about it. God, my phone, quick, sell.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's not into crypto and he's talking about it at work, man. It's time to get out.
Yeah.
Because when it crashes, I can buy back in and get more.
So the theme of this week's video is don't marry your bag.
Don't marry your bag.